Over 20,000 of you tapped into my update, breaking down the recent 23 billion settlement in federal student loan discharges. The messages, the comments, they continue to pour in, and you are asking the exact right questions. Today, I am pulling the top 5 questions directly from my DMs and the thread so you know what is factual, what is myth, and how to protect your money and your peace. Let's get into it. Before I start addressing those top 5 questions, I want to take a minute to introduce myself. I am Dr. Autumn Fair. I am a business strategist, consultant, educator with a faith focused mindset, helping women and mission driven organizations start, scale, and grow. Here's question number 1. It says, I work for a Head Start slash nonprofit that is now permanently closed and can't sign my PSLF certification form. What do I do? Great question. Here's your answer. You do not lose those qualifying payments. You are actually still in a great position. When using the PSLF help tool at studentaid.gov, you want to check the box that states your employer is closed or unable to sign. You will then provide alternative documentation. This is going to include a W-2, your tax statements. This can also be pay stubs. You can even go to the IRS website and manually pull your wage transcript. From there, the Department of Education does the work. They manually will review and verify that qualifying employment for you. So that should answer that question. Question number 2. And Michelle, this one is for you. I know I owe you an answer. The question says, do Parent Plus loans qualify for PSLF? And the answer is yes, but with critical distinction. First, PSLF eligibility is based on the parent's qualifying employment, right? So this is if the parent worked for government, public schools, 501c3 nonprofits, not the students. So if you took out the Parent Plus loan and you fall into one of those categories, you may be eligible to have these loans forgiven. The second piece is the Parent Plus loan must be consolidated into what's called a direct consolidation loan and repaid under any and all eligible repayment plans. So this is going to be like the ICR. This is what has to be done for it to count towards the 120 qualifying payments. So that's the second. Third top ask question is, my servicer changed from Mohella to Advantage, or I saw rumors online about political leaks and breaches, certain politicians named. Does this automatically qualify me for loan discharge? That answer is no. Servicers transferring. So if it changed from one service provider to another, this happens routinely with federal contracts. It happens all the time. And so a transfer on its own does not trigger a discharge. Furthermore, I want to make sure you're not falling into these internet rumors claiming that a data leak or political development automatically wipes away your debt. Forgiveness comes strictly through the established rules under federal policy, federal law, and that is for the borrower defense, which is simply school misconduct, misguiding you. Go back and watch the first video. I explain it in detail. Or PSLF, the IDR completion, or total and permanent disability, just to name a few. Those were the ones I addressed in the first video. Question number 4 says, can I apply for borrower defense regardless of the school I attended if they misled me about salary or job placement? And this answer is yes. It's a resounding yes. Borrower defense is claim-based. It's not about institution. It's not strictly school exclusive. So while certain schools were automatically grouped into the discharge due to these major lawsuits, any borrower who attended an institution that engaged in provable misconduct, false job placement data, this might be fraudulent promises, you can file a claim. However, you must be able to document what you were told, who told you, and prove you relied on that misinformation when taking out these loans. Previous video, I talked about this. Listen, you can apply, and as long as you are ethical and integral, let it play out. The fifth and final question. This one says, why does it look like my balance is increasing even though there's news about forgiveness? And so federal loan relief programs are not a universal blanket cancellation. So that means everybody is not included. Your loan may or may not be included. Go back and watch the first video on student loan where I give you guidance on measuring whether or not you should consider applying. The other part to that is if you are not actively enrolled in a zero interest deferment, an approved discharge process, or an income driven repayment plan with interest subsidy, interest is going to continue to accrue daily on standard plans. What does that mean to you? That means if you have a student loan and you don't fall into one of those categories, money is added every day to the balance, every single day. And that may be why you're seeing your loan balance increase. I encourage you, check your official dashboard at studentaid.gov to see exactly why and what repayment plan you may or may not currently be assigned to. That's the top 5 questions that came through the DM, that came through the thread that I wanted to reach back and address for you. Um, I want to make sure that a couple of things are clear. You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars to submit these applications, to apply for these programs. They are available to you. Tax dollars support the Department of Education or the Education Department, whichever way it is currently termed. Everything we discuss is completely accessible at no cost to you at studentaid.gov. You also want to make sure that you subscribe and follow so that you don't miss the next breakdown in this series. If you have specific student loan questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I'll feature the next batch in the upcoming video. And then let's make sure that if you qualify, you get the relief you actually need and deserve today. That's it. That's my word. I am Dr. Autumn Fair, Chief Faith Officer with Lynn Square Consulting. If you have a question and I may have missed it, drop that in the comments. I'll circle back to you in the next update. Get to studentaid.gov, figure out what you can do. I'm doing this series because I was someone who carried almost $250,000 in student loan debt. And through God's grace and favor, I recently received notice that my student loans have been discharged. So to go from almost $250,000 to nothing because I took the time to go to studentaid.gov, did the research, applied, and it took some time, did a lot of praying, waited it out, but here I am. It was 80+% of my consumer debt. So if you are able, take the time to do the research, get in, get the information, and if it applies to you, be honest, be ethical, be integral, and submit your application.